the strategy that saved Evan Miller. Evan Miller was born into a normal family in the suburbs. His father was a carpenter and his mother ran a small food shop. Since he was young, Evan had been familiar with the smell of wood, with every hammer strike, every nail. He wasn't an outstanding person, but he was always calm, persistent, and especially very observant. At 25, Evan opened a small wood workshop. Only 4 workers, a few old machines, and a storefront that wasn't very impressive. But thanks to his kindness and meticulousness, customers began to return. They said simple, "No one makes furniture as solid as Evan." Evan wasn't rich, but he lived well. He always remembered his father's words. Business doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be steady. But times changed faster than Evan expected. One day a new sign appeared next to Evan's workshop. Kingwood Manufacturing, the most modern industrial wood factory in the area. Kingwood opened like a storm. They had automated machines, a warehouse thousands of square meters wide, a professional marketing team, stunning product photos, and their prices were nearly 30% cheaper than Evan's. Evan's employees began to worry. Sam, the longtime worker, came near Evan and whispered, "Boss, they're too strong. I'm afraid we won't survive." But Evan just nodded, "I know," then stayed silent and observed. He didn't panic like everyone thought. Evan understood Kingwood was stronger, bigger, and richer. If he stepped into a price war, he would definitely lose. And that was when Evan made a different decision. For 3 days straight, Evan closed the workshop. He just sat in his small room with paper and pen. He wrote down all his strengths and weaknesses. He reviewed old orders, re-listened to customer feedback. Finally, he realized something, seemingly small but extremely important. Evan's customers didn't come for cheap prices. They came for the craftsmanship that industrial machines couldn't achieve. While Kingwood pushed mass-produced, low-priced furniture, Evan decided to do the opposite. Evan's new strategy: only make high-end, intricate, custom-ordered products. No chasing quantity, no chasing speed, no competing on price, only competing with what Kingwood couldn't copy: human craftsmanship. At first, the whole workshop objected. Sam said, "But boss, customers will leave. Everyone likes cheap stuff." Evan just smiled. Not everyone wants cheap, but everyone wants exactly what they need. He invested time in training workers, hired a design expert, bought 3D modeling software. Evan spent hours just choosing a wood color, adjusting a corner, checking each grain pattern. Work slowed down, income dropped, but Evan didn't waver. While Evan quietly changed, Kingwood exploded rapidly. They opened 2 more branches. Advertisements were everywhere. Their cheap products sold like hotcakes. Many of Evan's old customers switched to Kingwood. Evan lost nearly 40% of his revenue in just 3 months. Everyone thought Evan was about to close. The whole family looked at him as if he were heading into a dead end. One evening, his mother cried, "My son, maybe you should change jobs. I don't want you to lose everything." Evan wiped her tears and calmly said, "I'm not losing to Kingwood. I just refuse to join their battle." One autumn morning, when the workshop was crafting an intricate cabinet sample, a man in a suit walked in. He introduced himself. "I'm Richard Crane, director of Crane Interiors. I've seen your products. I'm here because Kingwood couldn't do it." Evan froze for a moment. Richard placed a complex design on the table. "We need 200 sets of high-end wooden cabinets for an international hotel chain. Kingwood tried, but the finishing quality was too poor. I need a workshop that can achieve refined craftsmanship." Evan stayed silent for a few seconds, then said, "I can do it, but I don't work fast, and I don't work cheap." Richard burst into loud laughter. "Good. I'm not looking for fast or cheap. I'm looking for precise." That contract was big enough to change Evan's entire life, not just because of the money, but because of the reputation. The night the contract was signed, Evan's workshop held a small celebration. Sam raised his glass, eyes red. "Boss, so from the start, you knew we would win?" Evan shook his head. "I didn't know I'd win. I only knew if I chased after them, I would definitely lose." While they celebrated, news spread. Kingwood began having problems. Because they chased quantity, product defects increased sharply. Returned goods piled up. Advertising costs rose. Profits became thin as paper. The new branches kept losing money. A year later, Kingwood declared bankruptcy. Across the neighborhood, people looked at Evan with admiration, not because he defeated Kingwood, but because he chose the right strategy and stuck with it. Evan's success didn't come overnight. It came from identifying the right goal, choosing the right battle, and maintaining core values. The Evan Miller Wood Workshop, from 4 people, became a high-end interior manufacturer for major hotels and luxury villas. Employees increased to 30. Evan opened a design department, a material research room, and even training programs for young craftsmen. But he still lived as simply as the first day. Every morning, he still checked each product by hand. Every evening, he still sanded small wooden pieces. And he still reminded everyone of his familiar saying, "Business doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be right. Losing because you're weak can be fixed, but losing because you choose the wrong strategy costs you a lifetime." Years later, when Evan's workshop became a major brand, a reporter asked him, "What helped you surpass Kingwood, a competitor 100 times stronger?" Evan answered slowly, as if he wanted the words to sink in. "Because I wasn't fighting them, I was only fighting myself. A smart businessman doesn't chase the market. He chooses the right position and builds that position firmly." Every story carries within it a seed of change. If you listen with your whole heart, who knows? Today might be the day that seed begins to grow inside you. Life always offers us precious lessons. All we need is to open our hearts to receive them. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this story. I wish you good health, deep peace, and the ability to find light in every moment of your life. If you find this story meaningful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share it to spread positive energy to even more people.